It's not a new question whether Christians should study pagan authors. Church Father Tertullian, who was famous for defending the fledgling faith against heretics, asked the famous question, "What hath Athens," or philosophy, "to do with Jerusalem," or theology? He had observed that quite a few of the heresies came from philosophers who were studying speculative things, and he believed that it was probably better just not to study them because it led you off into wrong thinking. But that question has been answered through other believers through the ages, and Augustine, in his most famous formulation, said, "No, we must plunder the Egyptians." He borrowed that particular analogy from Origen, who was also answering the same question. And the idea is, just as the Israelites, as they were going out of Egypt, plundered the Egyptians, they took their gold and silver, they were given, actually, God motivated them to be given. They took those things with them as they left, and those eventually became the temple furnishings. So that is what Augustine is talking about. He's saying, let's take those things away from the pagans. Let's take them and put them to their rightful service. When he said plundering the Egyptians, that's what he meant. John Calvin talked about it. He talked about how important it was to recognize that the gift of wisdom or truth, wherever it was found, is to be respected and it's to be appreciated, and not to do so, not to appropriate those riches, is to actually despise the giver of those good gifts. But there's an important point here that you have to remember, and I think it makes this question really important for us, very urgent for us as Christian parents, and that is that Egyptian gold was used to make golden calves before it was used to furnish the temple. And so there is a caution there. It is really important that this exposure to classic literature be done in the right setting and with the right motivations and with the right methodology. My favorite way to illustrate this is from C.S. Lewis's Prince Caspian, which is a book that really talks a lot about the importance of story. But particularly towards the end of the book, Susan and Lucy are at a feast with Aslan, and they see Bacchus, who is the not so savory god of wine. He does a lot of bad things if you read the mythology. And Susan says to Lucy, "I wouldn't have felt safe with Bacchus and all his wild girls if we hadn't met them with Aslan." And I think that's really the key when we're talking about pagan classics, whether they're old or new. The key is we want to meet them in the company of Aslan. We want to approach them from a Christian standpoint, not to find all the things that are wrong with them, but to find the riches that are contained therein.